Here's a very simple, deeply detailed, and clear summary of the Ghaznavids and their rise, written like you're learning it for the very first time, with all the background and meaning explained step by step. Summary. The Ghaznavids and the beginning of Turkic invasions. 1. Who were the Ghaznavids? The Ghaznavids were a Turkic Muslim family who ruled a powerful empire from the year 977 CE to 1186 CE. About 1,000 years ago, they ruled over northeastern Iran, a place called Khorasan, Afghanistan, especially the city of Ghazna, now called Ghazni, and northwestern India, which is mostly modern-day Pakistan today, places like Lahore, Multan, and Punjab. They were not originally Indian or Iranian. They were Turks from Central Asia, meaning they came from places like Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. Over time, they entered Iran and Afghanistan, became Muslims, and built their own empire. 2. The rise of the Ghaznavids, from slave to king. The founder of this dynasty was Subuktigin, who ruled from 977 to 997 CE. What's amazing is that Subuktigin was once a slave, not a king, not a prince, but a military slave, Ghulam. He was probably taken from Central Asia as a young boy, trained as a soldier, and later rose through the ranks. He served a powerful empire called the Samanids, who ruled parts of Iran and Central Asia. The Samanids made him the governor of Ghazna, a city in modern-day Afghanistan. But when the Samanid Empire began to weaken, Subuktigin took the chance to make himself independent and expand his rule. He became a powerful local king and captured new lands, especially toward the east, near the Indian border. Mahmud of Ghazni. 3. The great conqueror, Subuktigin's son, Mahmud of Ghazni, ruled from 998 to 1030 CE. He was one of the most important kings in medieval Islamic history. Mahmud continued his father's expansion and made the Ghaznavid Empire even bigger, became the first Muslim ruler to seriously invade India, not just once, but 17 times. We'll explain that separately later. Wanted to make Ghazna a rich, powerful, and respected Islamic center. Brought back lots of treasures, wealth, and prisoners from India to build up his empire. By the year 1005 CE, the old Samanid Empire had completely collapsed. Its lands were divided. The Ghaznavids took the western part, Iran and Afghanistan. The Karakhanids, another Turkic group, took the eastern part, Central Asia. The Oxus River, Amu Darya, became the boundary, border, between these two new empires. 4. Why are the Ghaznavids important in history? The Ghaznavids are important because they were one of the first Turkic Muslim dynasties to rule in Afghanistan and India. They showed how Turks from Central Asia could rise to power in Muslim empires, even starting from slavery. Mahmud of Ghazni's invasions of India brought major changes in Indian history. These invasions weakened Indian kingdoms and opened the door for more Muslim rulers to come into India in later centuries. Their capital city, Ghazna, became a great center of art, science, and Islamic learning under Mahmud. 5. What happened to the Ghaznavids? The Ghaznavid Empire lasted until 1186 CE, when it was finally destroyed by another Turkic group called the Ghurids. By then, the Ghaznavids had already lost most of their power. They only ruled small parts of Punjab, and their glory days were over. In short, the Ghaznavids were a Turkic Muslim family who ruled parts of Iran, Afghanistan, and India, mostly Pakistan, from 977 to 1186 CE. The dynasty was founded by Subuktigin, a former slave who became king. His son, Mahmud of Ghazni, made the empire big and famous by invading India many times. They ruled after the fall of the Samanids, and their empire stood as a major power in the Islamic world. They were among the first invaders of India from the northwest in the medieval period. Would you like a separate, very simple and deeply detailed explanation of Mahmud of Ghazni's invasions of India next? Here is a great, deep, and simple summary of everything about Mahmud of Ghazni, explained in a way that's easy to understand, clear, and complete. Summary of Mahmud of Ghazni's life and achievements. Deep, detailed, and simplified. 1. Who was Mahmud of Ghazni? Mahmud of Ghazni was a Turkic Muslim ruler who ruled from 998 to 1030 CE. He was the most powerful king of the Ghaznavid dynasty, which ruled parts of Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and northwestern India. 2. How powerful was his empire? Under Mahmud, the Ghaznavid Empire became the strongest it had ever been. It stretched from the Oxus River in Central Asia, across Afghanistan and Pakistan, to the Indus Valley and the Indian Ocean, and westward into Iran. He captured the cities of Ray and Hamadan from the Buyids. This made him one of the most powerful rulers of his time in the Islamic world. 3. What was Mahmud's religion? Mahmud was a deeply religious Muslim. He took this from their pagan Turkic origins, old beliefs before Islam, Holy Islamic Kingdom. He also wanted to spread Islam by fighting non-Muslim kingdoms, especially in India. 4. Did Mahmud support culture? Mahmud also supported art and literature. The famous Persian poet Ferdowsi completed the Shahnameh, Book of Kings, at Mahmud's court. This poem is a masterpiece in Persian literature and tells the stories of old Persian kings and heroes. 5. What did Mahmud do in India? Mahmud became famous, or feared, for his 17 raids into India between 1000 and 1027 CE. He attacked rich Indian kingdoms, destroyed Hindu temples, and took gold, jewels, and wealth back to Ghazni. He also tried to spread Islam in India, but he did not stay to rule India permanently. He raided and then returned home. Number 6. What was India like at that time? India in the 11th century was not united. It had many small Hindu kingdoms. Some major ones were Hindu Shahi Kingdom, Punjab to Kabul, Kannauj, Gujarat, Kashmir, Malwa, Bundelkhand, and Nepal. Because they were divided, Mahmud could defeat them one by one. 7. Who was Jayapala? Jayapala was the king of the Hindu Shahi Kingdom, which was on the frontier of India. In 1001 CE, Mahmud defeated Jayapala in battle. Jayapala felt so ashamed that he burned himself to death, a ritual act of self-immolation to avoid dishonor. 8. Why is Mahmud important in history? He expanded Islam into India. He created a strong Islamic state that connected Central Asia, Iran, and northern India. He made Ghazni a center of wealth, learning, and power. His raids on Indian temples and kingdoms left a deep impact on Indian history, culture, and religion. In short, feature details. Name: Mahmud of Ghazni, reign 998 to 1030 CE. Empire: Ghaznavid Empire, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, parts of India. Religion: Islam, deeply religious Muslim. Military actions: 17 raids into India, defeated Hindu kingdoms. First big victory: defeated Jayapala of Hindu Shahi Kingdom in 1001 CE. Culture: patron of Persian poet Ferdowsi, supported the arts. Legacy: spread Islam, brought riches from India, left long-lasting effects in South Asian history. Here is a great, deep, and very simple summary of the full explanation above. I will guide you through each key idea, step by step, like a story, using easy words, extra details, and clear examples, so anyone can understand it fully. Deep summary of Mahmud of Ghazni's attacks on India, 1008 to 1030 CE. 1. Who was Mahmud of Ghazni? Mahmud was the ruler of Ghazni, a kingdom in Afghanistan. He was strong, clever, and ambitious. His dream was to make Ghazni very rich and powerful, especially in Central Asia. Number 2. Why did he attack India so many times? At that time, North India had many rich temples and cities. Temples had gold idols, silver ornaments, and jewels donated by kings and people. Cities like Mathura and Kannauj were filled with wealth and culture. Mahmud knew this, so he attacked India again and again, not to rule it, but to loot it. 3. How many times did he attack? In just 25 years, Mahmud attacked India 17 times, between about 1000 and 1025 CE. These attacks are called raids because he would 1. Bring a strong army. 2. Defeat Indian kings. 3. Loot cities and temples. 4. Take the gold back to Ghazni. 5. Prepare for the next raid. 4. Who tried to stop him? A. Jayapala, first Hindu Shahi king who fought Mahmud but lost. B. Anandapala, Jayapala's son. He became king after his father and tried again to stop Mahmud. He joined with other Indian rulers, like those from Kannauj and Rajasthan, to form a big army. But Mahmud defeated them in the Battle of Waihind, 1008 CE, near Peshawar. R5. Battle of Waihind, 1008 CE. This was a major battle between Anandapala's army and Mahmud's forces. Anandapala was supported by other Indian kings, but Mahmud still won. After winning, Mahmud took over Punjab, a very rich and fertile area. Now Mahmud had a strong base in India, which helped him come back for more raids. 6. What places did Mahmud attack? A. 111 CE, Nagarkot and Thaneshwar. Nagarkot was a temple in the hills full of jewels and gold. Thaneshwar was a holy Hindu city near Delhi. Mahmud looted both and took the treasure to Ghazni. B. 1018 CE, Mathura and Kannauj. Mathura was the birthplace of Lord Krishna, full of huge temples and gold idols. Mahmud burned the temples, broke the idols, and looted everything. Then he went to Kannauj, one of India's richest and oldest cities, and looted it too. 7. Why was Mahmud so successful? Indian kings were divided and didn't fight together. Mahmud's army was well-trained, fast, and better organized. He used military planning, surprise attacks, and sometimes bribed local leaders. He didn't waste time ruling cities. He came only to steal and destroy. 8. What did Mahmud do with all this wealth? He used the gold and treasure to build up Ghazni. He built palaces, mosques, and gardens. He supported scholars, poets, and artists. He made Ghazni a center of Islamic learning and power. Because of the loot from India, Ghazni became very famous and powerful in Central Asia. 9. What was the result for India? Many great temples were destroyed. Sacred cities like Mathura and Thaneshwar were burned or looted. Indian kingdoms lost gold, idols, and pride. Mahmud's raids showed that Indian kings were not united, which made India weaker later. In the end, Mahmud of Ghazni came to India 17 times, defeated many Indian kings, and looted temples and cities. He used this wealth to make Ghazni powerful. His attacks were a turning point in Indian history, showing the need for unity among Indian kingdoms. Though he didn't stay and rule India, his destruction had a huge impact on Indian society, religion, and politics. Would you like a timeline, a map explanation, or a visual chart next? I can also tell the or a comic-style summary if Here is a great, deep, and very simple summary of the explanation you just learned, like teaching a total beginner with added details and crystal clear meaning. Mahmud of Ghazni, deep and simple. Who was Mahmud? Ghazni was a powerful ruler from Ghazni, a city in Afghanistan, ruled around in the 11th century, 1000 CE. He wanted to make his kingdom very rich and strong, especially compared to other powers in Central Asia. What did he do in India? Mahmud raided India 17 times in just 25 years. A raid means he came with soldiers, attacked cities and temples, took away gold and treasure, and then went back to Ghazni. He did not try to stay and rule India. Why did he attack temples? Temples in those days were not only religious places. They were also like banks or treasure rooms. People donated gold, silver, jewels, and expensive things to temples as offerings to gods. So temples had a lot of wealth stored. Example, the Somnath Temple in Gujarat was one of the richest temples in India. In 1025 CE, Mahmud attacked it, took the treasure, broke the idol inside, and returned to Ghazni with a huge amount of loot. Did he try to rule India? Mahmud did not want to become the king of India. He did not build a permanent kingdom or government in India. He was only interested in quick wealth, so he attacked and left. So why is he important in Indian history? Even though Mahmud did not rule India, his attacks were important for two big reasons. 1. He showed that India was easy to invade. Indian kings were not united, or instead of working together. Mahmud's easy victories showed future invaders that India could be conquered, especially through the northwest. 2. He opened the door to future Muslim rule. Later rulers from Turkey and Central Asia, like the Delhi Sultans, came into India using the same route Mahmud used, through the Khyber Pass, northwest. That's why some historians call him the beginner or founder of Turkish rule in India. Even though he didn't stay to rule, he started the process. In simple story form, imagine a man who keeps robbing a rich house again and again. He never stays, never lives there. He just takes the gold and runs. But one day, other robbers see how easy it is and decide to take over the whole house. That man is Mahmud. The house is India. And the later robbers who came to stay and rule were the Delhi Sultans. Would you like a comic strip, timeline, story version, or map version of this next? I can give you any style. Here is a great, deep, and very simple summary of the impact of Mahmud of Ghazni's invasions on India, like teaching a complete beginner or child. I've organized it clearly, expanded each point, and explained everything gently and slowly, with examples, context, and added meaning so you can fully understand. Deep and simple summary. The impact of Mahmud of Ghazni's invasions on India. 1. India's military weakness was exposed. What it means. Mahmud's attacks showed the world that India's armies were weak and unprepared. He invaded again and again, 17 times, and most Indian rulers could not stop him. Why it happened. Indian soldiers used elephants and slow-moving troops. Mahmud used fast horses, archers, and surprise attacks. India didn't have a strong, united defense system. Example of Wahind, 1008 CE. Mahmud defeated Anandapala, even with help from other kings. Result. The world saw that India could be invaded easily, and many others came after Mahmud. 2. India's political disunity was revealed. What it means. India was not one strong country. It had many small kingdoms that often fought each other. Why it mattered. Indian rulers did not work together. When Mahmud invaded, only a few kings helped Anandapala. Others stayed out. This made it easy for Mahmud to defeat them one by one. Example. Even big kingdoms like Kannauj and Rajasthan helped Anandapala only once, but most times there was no combined Indian army. Result. India's lack of unity made it weak, and Mahmud took full advantage of that. 3. India became economically weaker. What it means. Mahmud looted temples and cities and carried huge amounts of gold, silver, and gems to his capital, Ghazni, in present-day Afghanistan. Why it mattered. That wealth was India's savings. It could have been used for building, farming, or helping the poor. With so much money taken away, Indian kingdoms became poorer and weaker. Example. In 1025 CE, Mahmud looted the famous Somnath temple and took tons of gold. He did the same at Mathura, Tanishwar, and other places. Result. India lost a lot of money, and Ghazni became rich and powerful. 4. Indian art and temples were damaged. What it means. Mahmud didn't just take treasure. He also destroyed temples, idols, statues of gods, and beautiful carvings. Why it mattered. Temples were more than just places of worship. They were centers of art, learning, and culture. Their destruction meant that India lost many beautiful, irreplaceable sculptures and paintings. Example. The temples at Mathura, which had thousands of idols, were destroyed by Mahmud. These idols were works of great art, carved from stone and metal. Result. India lost parts of its history, culture, and beauty forever. 5. India became open to future foreign attacks. What it means. Mahmud showed that invading India was easy, especially through the Khyber Pass, a mountain path from Afghanistan into India. Why it mattered. After Mahmud, other invaders also used this route. They knew that India had wealth, but was divided and unguarded. Example. In the 1100s, Muhammad Ghori followed the same path and defeated Indian kings to set up the Delhi Sultanate, Muslim rule in India. Result? Mahmud's attacks were like opening a gate, and many future invaders walked through it. 6. Start of Islam's presence in India. What it means. Mahmud's invasions brought Islamic influence to India for the first time. Why it mattered. Soldiers, traders, and officials from Mahmud's army settled in parts of India. Over time, they built mosques, opened markets, and some Indians converted to Islam. This was the beginning of the Muslim population in India. Example, small Muslim communities grew in places like Punjab and Sindh even before later Muslim rulers came. Result, India, which had mostly been Hindu and Buddhist, now also had Muslims living in it. 7. Arrival of peaceful Muslim saints, Sufis. What it means. After Mahmud, Sufi saints came to India. They were peaceful, loving, spiritual teachers of Islam. Why it mattered. Sufis spoke local Indian languages, wore simple clothes, and lived among common people. They believed in kindness, unity, and helping others, and many Hindus respected and followed them. Example, famous Sufis like Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti came later and made Hindu-Muslim friendship stronger through love and understanding. Result, this created new bonds between the two religions, and people of different faiths began talking, learning, and living together. Final summary in one simple paragraph. Mahmud of Ghazniv's invasions changed Indian history. They showed that India was divided and weak in war. He took huge amounts of gold, destroyed temples, and made India poorer and weaker. His invasions made it easier for other foreign rulers to invade India later. His actions also began the spread of Islam in India, and peaceful saints called Sufis helped create understanding between Hindus and Muslims. These invasions were a turning point in Indian history. They caused great loss, but also began new cultural changes. Would you like this as a poster, infographic, or comic strip? I can make it visual too. Here is a great, deep, and very simple detail of everything about Masud of the Ghaznavid Empire, explained like you're hearing it for the first time. Great detailed summary. The fall of the Ghaznavid Empire, after Mahmud of Ghazni. 1. Who was Masud I? Masud was the son of the famous ruler Mahmud of Ghazni. He became the new king of the Ghaznavid Empire in 1031 CE, after Mahmud died. Masud ruled for only 10 years, from 1031 to 1041 CE. 2. The Ghaznavid Empire at the time. Mahmud had made the empire very large and powerful. The empire stretched across Eastern Iran, Central Asia, like parts of present-day Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, Northwest India, mainly around Punjab and Lahore. But this big empire had many enemies, and it was difficult to control from just one place. 3. New threat. The Seljuk Turks. During Masud's rule, a new rising group came up, the Seljuk Turks. They were also Turks, like the Ghaznavids, but they were different tribes with their own plans. The Seljuks began invading Iran and Central Asia, where the Ghaznavids had power. This made the Seljuks and Ghaznavids enemies. 4. The major disaster. Battle of Dandankan, 1040 CE. Masud took his army to fight the Seljuks near a place called Dandankan, in present-day Turkmenistan. The battle took place in 1040 CE. The Seljuks were smart and used war tricks. They didn't fight directly at first. They kept attacking small groups, cutting off food, blocking water routes, and wearing down Masud's army. Masud's army got tired, hungry, and weak. When the battle happened, the Seljuks easily defeated Masud. 5. Results of the battle. This was the worst loss for the Ghaznavids. Masud lost all land in Iran, all land in Central Asia. Now, the Ghaznavids were left with only eastern Afghanistan, parts of North India, like Punjab and Lahore. 6. What happened to Masud? After this shameful loss, people lost respect for Masud. Even his own soldiers and ministers were angry. In 1041 CE, Masud was overthrown and killed, either by rebels or his own relatives. His death showed how weak the Ghaznavid Empire had become. 7. The last years of the Ghaznavid Empire. After Masud's death, weaker kings ruled the Ghaznavid Empire. Their power was limited to Afghanistan and North India, especially Lahore. The Ghaznavids continued as a small regional power, but they were not important anymore in Central Asia or Iran. The final end. 1186 CE. In 1186 CE, a new group called the Ghurids attacked. They took over Lahore, the last strong city of the Ghaznavids. Once Lahore fell, the Ghaznavid Empire was finished. The Ghurids became powerful and soon played a big role in founding the Delhi Sultanate in India. In simple bullet points, for quick memory, Masud I equals Mahmud of Ghazni's son, ruled 1031 to 1041 CE. He faced a new enemy, the Seljuk Turks. Big defeat in the Battle of Dandenkan, 1040 CE. Lost Iran and Central Asia to the Seljuks. Masud was killed in 1041 CE. Ghaznavids now ruled only parts of Afghanistan and India. In 1186 CE, Ghurids took Lahore. This was the end of the Ghaznavid Empire. Why it matters. Mahmud had made the Ghaznavids rich and famous, but Masud couldn't protect what his father built. This story shows how one bad ruler, one wrong battle, and one smart enemy can change the history of empires. After this fall, new powers like the Ghurids and later the Delhi Sultans rose in India. Would you like a comic strip or timeline image of this too? I can create you visualize it even better. Here is a great, deep, and vivid summary of the full passage you gave. It explains everything clearly, like teaching someone with no background knowledge. I've broken it into parts so you can understand it easily and fully. 1. Background. What was happening in the Islamic world around 800s-900s CE? A very big Muslim empire called the Abbasid Caliphate was once strong and powerful. But by the end of the 9th century CE, around 900 CE, this empire started becoming weak. Local rulers stopped obeying the caliph. Many parts of the empire broke away and formed their own kingdoms. 2. Rise of Turkish power. Around this time, a new group of people called the Turks from Central Asia became important. At first, they came into the Abbasid Empire as palace guards, bodyguards for the caliph, mercenary soldiers, fighters who were paid to fight, not part of the empire. But slowly, these Turks became more powerful. They started influencing who would become caliph. They became what we call kingmakers. 3. Turks become rulers themselves. Some of these Turks took on powerful titles. First, they called themselves Amir-ul-Umra, meaning commander of commanders. Later, they started calling themselves sultans, which means Muslim kings. They didn't just protect kings anymore. They became kings. 4. Samanid Empire and their location. In areas like Transoxiana, Khorasan, and parts of Iran, there was another powerful kingdom, the Samanid Empire. The Samanids were Persian Muslims from Iran, not Turks. They ruled a big area and often fought against Turkish tribes who lived just outside their borders. Ha-5. Who were the Ghazis? In these battles between the Samanids and the Turkish tribes, a new type of Muslim warrior appeared. The Ghazi. A Ghazi was a fighter who fought for Islam, a missionary, meaning he tried to spread Islam to non-Muslim lands, someone who believed that fighting non-Muslims was a holy duty. Ghazis weren't part of the main army, but they helped the army during battles. They didn't get a salary. Instead, they were allowed to loot the enemy's wealth, called plunder, after victory. Them are 6. Why Ghazis were important. Ghazis became very useful to Muslim rulers like the Turks. They were brave and deeply religious. They were willing to risk their lives because they believed they were fighting for God. They also helped spread Islam into new areas, especially places like India later. Summary in one sentence. By the end of the 9th century CE, as the powerful Abbasid Empire weakened, Islamized Turks, originally palace guards, rose to power as rulers and sultans, while Persian dynasties like the Samanids struggled against invading Turkish tribes, during which a new kind of warrior called the Ghazi emerged, men who fought to spread Islam and took loot instead of salary. Would you like me to now give a detailed story of Mahmud of Ghazni and how he used these Ghazis in his Indian invasions? Absolutely. Here's a great, deep, detailed summary of the passage you shared, explained in the simplest language possible, telling a story to someone who has never studied history. I've added extra information, background, and clarity for a full understanding. Deep and simple summary of the passage, the rise of the Ghaznavids and Mahmud of Ghazni. 1. Who were the Ghazis? In the early Islamic, there were brave Muslim fighters called Ghazis. They weren't regular army soldiers. They were more like religious warriors who believed it was their duty to fight to protect Islam and spread it. The Ghazis had to face one big challenge was from the Turkish tribes of Central Asia. 2. Who were the Turks and what happened to them? In the beginning, most Turks were not Muslims. They were powerful, nomadic, wandering out tribes from Central Asia, areas like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and nearby. They often attacked Muslim areas and fought against the Ghazis. But over time, something interesting happened. Because the Turks kept coming in contact with Muslim rulers, especially when they worked as soldiers or were captured in battle, many of them became Muslims themselves. These newly Islamized Turks began to fight for Islam, not against it. They became some of the strongest defenders and warriors of the Islamic world. So, the people who were once enemies became the most loyal protectors of Islam. 3. The Samanids and Alptigin. During the 800s and 900s, 9th and 10th centuries, a Persian Muslim dynasty called the Samanids ruled much of Afghanistan and nearby regions. One of their governors, local rulers, was a man named Alptigin. He was a Turk who had once been a slave, many slaving to become soldiers or administrators. Alptigin, a city in northern Afghanistan, but later he decided to break away from the Samanid kings and form his own kingdom. He made the city of Ghazni, in present-day Afghanistan, his capital. The Ghaznavid dynasty, a powerful Turkish Muslim kingdom. 4. Subuktegin, slave, son-in-law, and ruler, died. His slave and son-in-law, he had married Alptegin's daughter, Subuktegin, became the new ruler. Like his master, Subuktegin was also once a slave, but had become a skilled leader. In 977 CE, Subuktegin became the ruler of Ghazni and made it an even stronger kingdom. Soon the Samanid dynasty collapsed. That means their empire fell apart. Now, the Ghaznavids, the dynasty started by Alptigin and Subuktegin, became the main protectors of the Muslim lands, especially from attacks by tribes in Central Asia. 5. Mahmud of Ghazni, the first sultan. After Subuktegin, his son Mahmud became king. In 998 CE, Mahmud became the ruler of Ghazni. He was only 27 years old. Mahmud was the first ruler in Islamic history to be called a sultan, a title that means independent, powerful king. He ruled from 998 to 1030 CE, about 32 years, and became very famous in the Islamic world. 6. Why was Mahmud so important? Mahmud was known for his strong defense of Muslim lands. He fought off attacks from dangerous tribes coming from Central Asia, especially other Turkish groups that had not yet become Muslims. Because he was so brave and successful in defending Islam, Muslim writers from his time, called medieval Muslim historians, praised him as a hero of Islam. What's the big picture? The Turks, once enemies of Islam, later became its greatest protectors. From these Turks came great rulers, like Alptigin, Subuktegin, and most famously, Mahmud of Ghazni. The Ghaznavid dynasty, with its capital in Ghazni, Afghanistan, played a key role in Islamic history. Mahmud of Ghazni, as the first sultan, was one of the most powerful Muslim kings of his time, and was respected for his military strength and religious loyalty. Would you like next? A comic strip version of this story? A timeline of events? A map showing the places mentioned? Or an explanation of Mahmud's Indian invasions? Let me know. Sure. Here is a very deep, simple, and clear summary of the full passage, explained step by step in the easiest language possible, like teaching a beginner or child. This summary will give you every important idea with added background and examples so you fully understand it. Summary: Mahmud of Ghazni and the Persian Renaissance. Mahmud of Ghazni was a very powerful Turkish ruler who lived around 1,000 years ago. He ruled over a kingdom called the Ghaznavid Empire, which was based in modern-day Afghanistan, Pakistan, and parts of North India. Even though Mahmud was not Persian by birth, he was from a Turkish tribe, he became very closely connected to Persian, Iranian culture. He helped bring back old Persian traditions, stories, and pride, something historians call the Persian Renaissance. Renaissance means rebirth, bringing old things back to life. 1. Mahmud helped revive Persian culture. Mahmud supported Persian ideas, poetry, and language. He made Persian Farsi the official language of his court royal palace. Even though he was Turkish, he lived like a Persian king. This was part of a bigger cultural change. Turkish rulers began acting, dressing, and speaking like Persians. 2. He supported the famous Persian poet Ferdowsi. One of Mahmud's greatest contributions was helping the poet Ferdowsi. Ferdowsi wrote a very long and important poem called the Shahnameh, Book of Kings. This book tells the stories of ancient Persian heroes and kings, like Iran's version of the Ramayana or Mahabharata. Ferdowsi's poems helped make Persian people proud again of their old history. Number 3. Mahmud said he was related to a Persian hero king. To look more Persian and win people's respect, Mahmud claimed he came from Afrasiab, a great king from old Persian stories. This helped Mahmud connect himself to Persian greatness, even though he was born a Turk. It was like saying, look, I come from a line of ancient heroes. 4. Turks became both Muslim and Persianized. Mahmud and other Turkish rulers had already converted to Islam. They followed the religion of Islam. But now, they also adopted Persian culture. They spoke Persian, followed Persian customs, and supported Persian writers and artists. This means they were Islamized, became Muslims, and Persianized, followed Persian culture at the same time. 5. But Mahmud also attacked and looted India. While Mahmud was a hero to Muslims and Persians, he was a destroyer in India. He led about 17 military invasions into Indian kingdoms. He plundered, robbed many temples and cities, especially rich ones like Somnath. He took back huge amounts of gold, silver, and jewels to his empire. He also destroyed many temples, which caused a lot of pain and loss to the Indian people. So, Mahmud is seen in two very different ways. To the Islamic and Persian world, a strong ruler, a protector, and a friend of culture. To Indians, a raider, a destroyer, and a temple looter. Simple analogy. Imagine a man who builds schools, supports poets, and brings back old songs in one country. But in another country, he burns schools, steals money, and destroys temples. That's how Mahmud of Ghazni is remembered, both as a protector of one culture and a destroyer of another. Final understanding. Mahmud helped Persian culture grow in an Islamic empire. He made Persian the main language of his kingdom. He encouraged poet history, especially with Ferdowsi's help. He linked himself to Persian legends to seem noble and royal. But at the same time, he invaded India, plundered cities, and destroyed temples, doing great harm. Would you like me to now explain why Mahmud attacked India, or more about Ferdowsi's Shahnameh, or how Persianization changed the Islamic world? I can go deeper into any of those topics too. Here is a deep, detailed, and very simple summary of the passage you gave. I will explain everything clearly, step by step, like teaching someone with no background in history. Topic: First Muslim invasions of India, Muhammad bin Qasim and the Ghaznavids. 1. Muhammad bin Qasim was a young general, only about 17 years old, from the Umayyad Caliphate, an early Islamic empire based in the Middle East. Around the year 712 CE, he invaded the region of Sindh, which is in present-day Pakistan. He was the first Muslim invader to enter and conquer Indian territory. His conquest was mainly political and military, and the spread of Islam invaded the local Hindu ruler, Raja Dahir, and brought Sindh under Muslim rule. Summary: Muhammad bin Qasim was the first Muslim to invade and take control of Sindh, starting Muslim influence in India. 2. Who were the Ghaznavids? After Muhammad bin Qasim's time, new Muslim powers rose from the region of Afghanistan. One such power was the Ghaznavid dynasty, founded by Subuktigin, a Turkish slave soldier who became king. Subuktigin ruled from around 977 to 998 CE. He was based in Ghazni, a city in modern Afghanistan. Summary: the Ghaznavids were a Muslim dynasty from Afghanistan who began looking toward India as a place to expand their power. 3. Conflict with Jayapala, the Hindu Shahi king. Jayapala was the king of the Hindu Shahi dynasty, which ruled areas in Punjab and parts of Afghanistan. His kingdom was next to Ghazni, so he felt threatened by the rise of the Ghaznavids. To defend his land, Jayapala decided to attack Ghazni first, a strike before they strike idea. He made an alliance with the son of Ghazni's former ruler, hoping they could defeat Subuktajin together. But the plan failed. Jayapala's army lost the battle. Subuktajin defeated him and forced him to sign a peace agreement. But this treaty was humiliating, meaning it shamed Jayapala and made him look weak. Summary: Jayapala, a Hindu king, tried to stop the Ghaznavids by attacking first but lost. Subuktajin defeated him and made him a peace deal. Overall summary: simple, clear, deep. Around 712 CE, Muhammad bin Qasim was the first Muslim invader to enter India, starting with Sindh. Later, in the late 900 CE, a new Muslim power called the Ghaznavids grew strong in Afghanistan. Their leader, Subuktajin, became powerful and ambitious. The nearby Hindu king, Jayapala, saw this as a threat and attacked Ghazni to stop the Ghaznavids. But Jayapala lost the war. Subuktajin defeated him and made him sign a shameful peace deal. This event showed that Muslim powers were becoming stronger, and Indian rulers were not fully prepared for these invasions. Why is this important? This marks the beginning of many Muslim invasions into India. It shows how foreign Muslim dynasties like the Ghaznavids began to influence Indian politics, war, and culture. These events set the stage for later invaders like Mahmud of Ghazni and Muhammad Ghori, who came with even bigger attacks on Indian kingdoms. If you want, I can now explain what happened next, like what Jayapala did after his defeat, how Mahmud of Ghazni came to power, how Muslim rule expanded further in India. Let me know, and I'll explain it in the same simple and clear way. Here is a great and very simple detail we learned about Mahmud of Ghazni and his invasions of India, like explaining to someone with no background in the clearest way possible. Summary: Mahmud of Ghazni and his invasions of India. Who was Mahmud of Ghazni? Mahmud was a Muslim king who ruled from 998 CE to 1030 CE. His kingdom, a city in Presnistan. He wanted to become a powerful ruler, make his capital rich and famous, and spread his religion. How many times did he invade India? Between the years 1000 CE and 1027 CE, Mahmud invaded India 17 times. Each time, he came with a strong army, attacked temples, looted gold and wealth, and went back. Why did Mahmud invade India? He had several important reasons. 1. To steal wealth. India was very rich at that time. There were many temples full of gold, silver, and jewels. Mahmud wanted to take this treasure to make his own kingdom rich. He used the loot to build beautiful buildings and mosques in Ghazni, pay his soldiers and strengthen his army, fight other enemy kings in Central Asia. Think of Mahmud as a king from a poorer land who kept robbing a rich country to become powerful. 2. To make Ghazni the strongest city, Mahmud dreamed of turning Ghazni into the most powerful and respected city in all of Central Asia. He wanted people from around the world to see Ghazni as a center of power and learning. With the money from India, he built big mosques, palaces, and schools, made Ghazni look wealthy and grand. 3. To defeat his enemies at home. Mahmud had many enemies near his kingdom. He needed money to fight them. He got this money from raiding India. So attacking India helped him win wars in other parts of the world too. 4. To destroy Hindu temples and spread Islam. Mahmud was a strong follower of Islam. In Islam, idol worship, worshipping statues, is not allowed. Hindu temples had many idols, images of gods. Mahmud believed it was his duty to destroy those idols and spread Islam. He earned the title idol breaker or Shikhan because he destroyed so many Hindu temples. 5. To prevent Indian kings from uniting. India at that time had many small kingdoms ruled by Rajput kings. These kings were not united. They often fought each other. Mahmud attacked India again and again before the kings had a chance to come together and stop him. He followed a smart military strategy, attack before they can prepare. 6. He planned his attacks around the weather. Mahmud always invaded in the summer. He went back to Ghazni before the monsoon rain started. This was smart because, during monsoon, rivers in North India flood. His army could get trapped in India if rivers flooded. So he always escaped before the rains. How was he able to invade so many times? The Rajput rulers of India were brave, but they were divided and not well organized. Mahmud used fast attacks, strong armies, careful planning around seasons. He took full advantage of India's weak unity. What did he do with the loot? He used India's wealth to build a powerful empire, make Ghazni a center of culture and learning, fight wars in Central Asia. He became famous as a king who was both rich and religious. However, in India, he is remembered mostly for looting temples, destroying idols, spreading fear. One famous example, the Somnath Temple. In 1025 CE, Mahmud attacked the Somnath Temple in Gujarat. It was one of the richest temples in India. He broke the idol, looted its treasure, and took the wealth back to Ghazni. This raid made him even more famous and feared. Final summary in one line. Mahmud of Ghazni was a powerful Afghan king who attacked India 17 times between 1000 and 1027 CE to loot its immense wealth, destroy Hindu temples, spread Islam, and make his kingdom strong and rich, while taking advantage of India's political weakness and lack of unity. Let me know if you want a visual chart, a timeline, or a storytelling version to make this even clearer. Here is a deep and very simple summary of the event about Mahmud of Ghazni's early campaigns in India. I'll explain it like a story, step by step, in plain, clear words. Law 1. Who was Mahmud of Ghazni? Mahmud was a powerful ruler of Ghazni, a city in modern-day Afghanistan. He ruled from around 998 CE to 1030 CE. He became famous for invading India 17 times between c. 1000 and 1027 CE. Why did Mahmud attack India? To get wealth. India had many rich temples full of gold, silver, and jewels. He wanted to take this treasure. To make Ghazni strong, he used the wealth to build a grand city and strengthen his army. To spread Islam, he wanted to show he was a strong Muslim Hindus. To stop Indian kings from uniting, he attacked quickly so they couldn't join forces against him. He always attacked in the hot months before the rainy season began. The rivers in Punjab flood during monsoon, so he left before his army could get stuck. 3. Mahmud's first attack, Battle of Waihind, c. 1000 CE. His first attack was against Jayapala, king of the Hindu Shahi dynasty. The battle happened near Waihind, close to modern Peshawar, Pakistan. Jayapala lost badly. Feeling great shame, he burned himself to death on a funeral pyre. Hack 4. Attacks on Multan, 1004 to 1006 CE. Mahmud then went south and attacked the city of Multan, now in Pakistan. Though Multan was ruled by Muslims, Mahmud attacked them because they opposed him or supported his enemies. He wanted total control of the area. 5. Second Battle of Waihind, 1008 CE. Jayapala's son, Anandapala, made a big alliance of Indian rulers to stop Mahmud. Allies included Sultan of Multan, kings from Rajasthan and Kannauj, the Khokars, a fierce tribal group from Punjab. Even though they had a bigger army, they lost. Why? Mahmud had fast horsemen, cavalry. Indian armies used slow elephants. Mahmud's forces could move fast and win easily. Act 6. Annexation of Punjab. After these victories, Mahmud took control of Punjab. This helped him enter India more easily in later invasions. Punjab became a base camp for his future raids. 7. Attack on Mathura and Thaneshwar, when 1014 CE. Mahmud marched deeper into India. He attacked Thaneshwar near Delhi, a holy Hindu town. Then he went to Mathura, a sacred city for Hindus, birthplace of Krishna. He burned the temples, broke the idols, and looted huge amounts of gold and silver. Extra insights. Mahmud's army was small but smart, fast and well-trained. Indian kings were brave but unorganized. They often fought separately, not together. His campaigns left a deep mark, not just in loot but in memory. He is remembered as both a destroyer and a builder. Would you like a timeline or storybook version of all 17 invasions next? I can do it step by step in simple form. Here is a great, deep, and Mahmud of Ghazni's campaigns between c. 1018 to 1026 CE, simplest language with added context, clear explanations, and background to help you fully understand the events. Summary of Mahmud of Ghazni's key expeditions. c. 1026 CE. 1. The 1018 CE campaign, sack of Kanauj and defeat of Hindu Shahis. In c. 1018 CE, Mahmud of Ghazni, a powerful ruler from Ghazni in modern-day Afghanistan, launched a large military invasion into North India. He attacked and sacked the rich city of Kanauj. Sack means he looted the city, taking its wealth, destroying its temples, and killing or capturing. Kanauj was an important cultural and political center, Idara, of the Chandela dynasty. The Chandelas were known for building beautiful temples like those at Khajuraho. Mahmud defeated Vidyadhara, though there is debate about whether he fled or fought back. In the same year, Mahmud turned his attention westwards and attacked the Hindu Shahi kingdom. He defeated and killed the last major Hindu Shahi king, Trilokanapala, and his son, Bhimapala. With their death, the Hindu Shahi dynasty came to an end. Mahmud took over important areas like Lahore and Rahib, extending his control into northwestern India. 2. The 1125 CE expedition, plunder of the Somnath temple. In c. 1025 CE, Mahmud launched his 16th and most famous campaign into India. His target was the Somnath temple, one of the most sacred and wealthiest temples dedicated to Lord Shiva, located in Kathiawar, Gujarat, Saurashtra region. The temple had become symbolically important as a center of Hindu religious power and wealth. Mahmud's army traveled through the desert, crossed rivers, and finally reached Somnath. A fierce battle took place as thousands of defenders tried to protect the temple. Over 50,000 defenders were killed, according to some sources. Mahmud plundered the temple, broke the idol of Shiva, and carried away its treasures, including gold, silver, and precious gems. However, Mahmud did not stay in Gujarat for long. He heard that the Chalukya king Bhima, who ruled Gujarat, was preparing an army to attack him. Mahmud quickly left with the loot before Bhima could reach him. Later, Bhima rebuilt and restored the Somnath temple, showing the resilience of local kings and people. Shop 3. The 1026 CE expedition, punishment of the Jats. In c. 1026 CE, Mahmud returned to punish the Jats, a tribal community living near the Indus River, mainly in Punjab today. The Jats had apparently helped Mahmud's enemies, or interfered with his army's movements, especially during his return from Gujarat. Mahmud attacked them brutally, punishing them with violence, killing many and destroying villages. Mahmud's cultural and scholarly contributions. Even though Mahmud is mostly remembered for war and destruction, he was also a patron of learning. He supported several famous scholars and writers in his court. Al-Biruni, a brilliant scholar from Central, he came to India and studied Indian religion, science, astronomy, and society. He wrote the Kitab-ul-Hind, Book of India, which is one of the most detailed early accounts of Indian culture by a foreigner. Unlike Mahmud, Al-Biruni deeply respected Indian knowledge. Ferdowsi, a famous Persian poet, often called the Homer of the East. He wrote the Shahnama, Book of Kings, a great Persian epic that tells the legendary history of Iran's kings and heroes. Though Mahmud supported him at first, they later had a falling out over payment. Utbi, Mahmud's official court historian. He wrote the Kitab-ud-Yamni, which gives a detailed record of Mahmud's military campaigns, especially in India. This book is one of the main sources historians use to learn about Mahmud's wars. Why these events matter, in very simple terms. 1. Mahmud of Ghazni's invasions changed North Indian politics. He weakened many Indian kingdoms and showed that they were divided and unprepared for foreign attacks. But he never ruled over most of India. He came mainly for loot, and then returned to Ghazni. 2. His destruction of temples like Somnath left a deep impact on Indian memory and history. These attacks became symbols of religious and political conflict. Yet, Local kings rebuilt many temples, showing India's cultural strength. 3. He helped preserve knowledge by supporting scholars, even though his campaigns were violent. Al-Biruni's Kitab-ul-Hind remains a precious window into ancient India's traditions. Final thoughts. Mahmud of Ghazni was a complex figure, a military conqueror, a temple plunderer, but also a patron of science and literature. He never aimed to stay and rule India like later Muslim dynasties did, like the Delhi Sultanate or Mughals. His campaigns showed the importance of unity among Indian rulers, something they lacked at the time. Though he is often remembered for violence, his court also produced some of the greatest works of medieval Islamic and Persian scholarship. Would you like a timeline chart of these events? A simple illustrated map of Mahmud's quiz to help you remember this? Let me know, and I'll create that for you. Here is a great, deep, and simple summary of the full passage you gave, explained like you're a beginner learning it for the first examples and full clarity. Summary: what happened after Mahmud of Ghazni's death and why it mattered? 1. Mahmud of Ghazni died in around 1030 CE. He was the famous king who attacked India 17 times to plunder, loot temples and cities. After he died, his empire started getting weaker. His son Masud took his place but could not hold the empire together. 2. A new empire rose, the Seljuk Empire. Around the same time Mahmud died, a new and powerful empire was growing, the Seljuk Empire. The Seljuks were Turkic Muslims from Central Asia. They Iran and Oxiana, Central Asia around the Oxus River. The Seljuk Ghaznavids, and both sides fought for control of an important region called Khorasan, northeast Iran. 3. Mahmud's son Masud was defeated by the Seljuks. In a big battle, Masud lost badly to the Seljuks. He had to run away to Lahore, in today's Pakistan, to save his life. This defeat showed how weak the Ghaznavid Empire had become. 4. The Ghaznavid Empire shrank. Only Ghazni and Punjab were left. After the defeat, the Ghaznavids only ruled 2 places: Ghazni, capital in Afghanistan, and Punjab, northwestern part of India, Pakistan. Their big empire became small and fragile. They still made raids into India, especially the Ganga Valley and Rajputana, but they were not powerful enough to conquer or rule India. 5. Cultural blending between Hindus and Muslims began. Even though the Ghaznavids were weaker, their presence led to cultural interaction. Islamic and Hindu cultures started mixing in religion, language, trade, and daily life. Lahore became an important center of learning in the Arabic and Persian languages. 6. Muslim traders and Sufi saints played key roles. Traders from Muslim lands helped increase trade between India and West Central Asia. This brought more goods, money, and cultural exchange. Sufi saints, peaceful, loving Muslim spiritual leaders, spread messages of love, unity, and humanity. Many Hindus and Muslims respected them. They helped bring religions closer, not through war, but through kindness. 7. Mahmud's attacks weakened India and opened it to future invasions. Although Mahmud did not want to rule all of India, his 17 invasions caused a lot of damage. He destroyed temples, weakened Indian rulers, captured Punjab and Afghanistan, making the northwest border of India weak. His attacks showed that Indian rulers were divided and not very strong in fighting back. The northwest part of India, the gateway from Afghanistan, became easier to enter. 8. This made India open to future conquerors like Muhammad Ghori. Because Mahmud had already broken through India's frontiers, it became easier for later rulers to invade India. One such ruler was Muhammad Ghori, who later defeated Indian kings like Prithviraj Chauhan, started Muslim rule in Delhi, and laid the foundation of the Delhi Sultanate. Final big picture summary. After Mahmud's death, his empire collapsed. The Seljuks rose and beat Mahmud's son. The Ghaznavids were left with just Punjab and Ghazni. Even though they still raided India, they were not a real danger anymore. But Mahmud's attacks had already weakened Indians. Because to India from the northwest was left wide open. This made it easy for later Muslim rulers like Muhammad Ghori to come in and take over parts of India. At the same time, cultural exchanges began. Lahore became a center of learning. Trade grew, and Sufi saints preached peace and unity, respected by people of all faiths. Let me know if you want a timeline version of this, a map showing these places, a comparison between Mahmud and Ghori. I'm happy to explain more in simplest words.